All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the World Championship Series here, as we've had 4 of our 5 series conclude for the day, and we've had quite the results indeed. Some amazing games across the board, and we already have 4 of our players advancing through to Premier.
Yeah, Naniwa's name is now scratched off with Hero Marine, Showtime, and Beastie QT with Bunny Laser Mana, and now Kung Fu Panda joining us for the Premier League, joining our players from Monday as well. As we saw, Lilbo and the 3 Team Liquid players, 5 out of 5 now have gone through, but that leaves us with one final match left. I'm looking forward to this one, Zerg versus Zerg. We've seen quite a few recently, and we're going to see one more today.
Yes, we are. FireCake going up against Zanster. This is a very interesting matchup, in my opinion, because FireCake is a guy that a lot of people, you know, they say, oh, this guy built his career on Swarmhost, and for the most part at the very beginning he did, yes, but since then he's really rounded out his play style, and not only did he look like a big threat in the past Season 1, but also when he was eliminated from Season 1, he went on to actually win Gamers Assembly there against people like True. So really impressive stuff from FireCake so far.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be affected in today's games. Zerg vs Zerg he's always been pretty good at, and I think he's going to display that, but in Premier League it's going to be his true test of what he can do now without the Swarmhost gone. But Zanster is very good. I really like Zanster as a player. It's only his 2nd time in Challenger. He played once before, Season 1, 2014. And he hasn't played that many games, as you can see. Just because he's only played 1 season in Challenger, he's got almost no results to his name. But I think he has what it takes to make it to Premier League, and is another one of the young European players that's breaking through and looking to make his mark on the scene.
Previously of Fnatic, now obviously of Team Property. Zanster, we've seen him a few times, of course. We saw him, I'm pretty sure he's played at a few DreamHacks. We've seen him attend the Intel Extreme Masters San Jose in the open bracket. Didn't have as much traction there as he would have liked to have, but he has experience on bigger stages. So I don't think nerves really play too much of a part here going into this.
I mean, I think he's played in about 8 or more international events now. No big results. I think he got top 16 once at DreamHack, but that was it. But now he's on a very different stage. It's the online stage, as we're here in Challenger. And with a win here, he goes to Premier League for the first time. And we seem to be saying that a lot recently, as we have had a lot of first-timers go through.
Yeah, we have. It's been really cool as well to see that kind of shake-up and that dynamic. And it's also very interesting to see those first-timers go through off the back of how the system transitioned from Season 1 to Season 2. Obviously, if you're not familiar with the system, the Premier players from last season picked the Challenger players, picked who they wanted to play against. And some of them haven't quite gone the way they would have wanted it to have, unless, of course, they were kind of down the run of who they actually had to pick and picked what's left.
Yeah, I mean, with these players, FireCake was 7th out of 13 to pick. So he's in the middle. He had quite a bit of selection left, and he swung in favor of Zerg vs Zerg, which I really think is a smart choice, because I know he's good at other styles in versus Protoss and against Terran, but right now this is just a safer choice. You don't want to be playing a best of 5 in a matchup that you're not quite refined in after such a big change to the fundamental that FireCake has in StarCraft 2. But in Zerg vs Zerg, it's fine. He can play his normal game, and I think he's going to be looking solid.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think so too. I'm giving FireCake the tip of the hat here, and thinking that he's probably going to do pretty well against Zanster. I mean, you mentioned it before. His Zerg vs Zerg is pretty good. It's pretty on point, and we've seen some surprisingly strong results come out of FireCake.
Yeah, FireCake is... It's funny, when you think about FireCake is... You think of him a kind of a new age player that's come into the WCS recently and started to do well, but he's been in every single season of the World Championship Series. Every single season he's played in at least Challenger, and if he didn't play in Challenger, he broke through to the round of 32 and even a top 16 in the most recent season. He's been there from the very first season in 2013, but very low-key, just Challenger, in and out of Challenger quite a bit. And it took him a while to get the ball rolling. I think it took him a while. It took him like 2 seasons in Premier League to get a map win, 3 seasons to get a series win, and then eventually broke through to the round of 16. So it's been a very slow progress, but he's definitely established himself as a solid Zerg.
Yes, he has. All right, let's jump into game number 1. As we have spawning up to the top left-hand corner here in this best of 5, it's our blue Zerg. It is Zanster for Team Property. And down to the bottom right-hand corner, we have our red Zerg representing Punchline ESC. It is FireCake, who I mean, not only was he in all of those series, all of those seasons of WCS in 2013, 2014, and onwards, but I remember commentating this guy back when it was in 2012, when he was when he was playing in WCS France, back when it was all nationals, and I can't remember the word for fire, but he was named basically French for fire and then gâteau, and I was like, oh, this guy's kind of cool. This is an interesting guy.
Feel the ghetto.
And yeah, so he's been around for a long time, long time as this guy, despite not really having the biggest of names out there. He's certainly establishing himself nowadays.
Yeah, definitely. And he'll continue to do so. And he's definitely not one of the most favored people in the community. That's for sure. He's had a couple of antics online.
He's one of our villains here in WCS.
Yes, he's made himself very vocal about the recent changes to the Swarm host, and he does not like it.
But as we said before, what is a good story without a few villains, eh?
And he's definitely one of them. But here he is opening up with a spawning pool first. Very defensive setup here. Not very defensive, but defensive enough to deflect the majority of attacks, whereas his opponent has gone hatchery first, not too worried about that himself.
All right, let's see how this is going to pan out. Don't think the the Overlords here were able to brush past each other to see that second one, aside from Zanster, of course, that did spot his opponent's second Overlord, so can be feeling a little bit safe at the moment.
Yeah, so Gas then Spawning Pulse. He's going to have quite an early Zergling speed, but not early enough to topple FireCake. As FireCake's at Gas is actually very early. With this build, it's quite early. You usually get this after you've gotten the Queen, the third Overlord, and the Zerglings, but he got it before all of them, which is very fast, which is on par with a Gas before Spawning Pull of his opponent. Zanster's going to go in and is going to see it, and we'll see early intake, and knows it's kind of equal to his.
A little bit ballsy to go in with that Overlord, actually, considering that it was that spawning pool first. And then the go over here to the Queen, obviously, that can cause some problems for that Overlord, but he gets out in due time. It's a smaller map, so it's easier for those Overlords to actually get over there.
All right, so how is this going to shape up then? With both players at 100 gas, they're naturally both going to get Zergling speed, but where next? Baneling Nest going to come in? You would think so, because both of them offer a very dangerous game. They're both level pegging when it comes to the gas income. And one player who skips the Baneling Nest automatically loses against Zergling Baneling if a big fight happens. You can't fight Zergling alone versus Zergling Baneling. That's been pretty much spotted now from FireCake, even though he didn't see it. He kind of saw the Baneling Nest about to be placed down, so he needs one of his own.
Yep, yes he does. He saw all of that gas coming in there from Zanster as well, so you've got to be a little bit cautious, of course. For now, FireCake's going to throw down his Baneling Nest at the front. Nice little position where the Queen can go in between the Baneling Nest as well as the hatchery to make sure it doesn't get surrounded entirely by Zerglings.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see any aggression from either side because they both know each other should have a Baneling Nest, and it's very hard to beat a player who has a Baneling Nest down. So at this point, you just build a few lings, maybe a couple of Zerglings to put pressure on to make him build more than you've built so you can have a better drone count, which Zanster wants to do at this point as he adds on 6. But then you just drone. And then you look to move into the next stage, which is either Roach Warren, Evolution Chamber, maybe a fast layer, maybe a fast third base supported by additional Zerglings.
A little sprinkling extra of Zergling is going to come out here for Zanster to make sure he is fully ready to kind of greet anything, but they are going to start marching across the map, so maybe trying to force a response out of FireCake here.
Yeah, like I said, like he builds these to make his opponent build more than he just built, to then have a better income than his opponent, because like there's 10 lings coming out now from FireCake, well these were only 6. And 2 Banelings as well.
That being said, he does start 4 more extra Zerglings. Here does Zanster, so maybe looking to try and fish for a bit of more damage. But those 2 Banelings well defended there by the Queen, and even a Spinecrawler started behind this. So that's the big difference between them. That is the overreaction to a certain extent here from FireCake.
37 workers to 31 right now, 40 to 31. So I mean it's changing time by time here, but Zanster, it worked what Zanster tried. He put pressure on, he forced a lower drone count out of his opponent while teching up. They're both teching up in a similar direction, and it is going to be Mutalisk apiece.
And that's a tough fight to go for. Very, very tough, because you can get in these situations where it's Muta versus Muta, where your opponent starts making a lot of lings, investing a lot of gas into Banelings to go on the offensive, and forcing you to go into Banelings yourself to actually defend, and then that takes away from gas that would originally go into the Mutalisks.
Yeah, so you've got to really be low on Baneling count. You don't want to morph any more than a few. The Spire started a little bit earlier here for FireCake.
Likewise, Zanster grabbing it as well. So these Muta versus Muta battles are very, very sketchy. It's very difficult to get the proper engagement and gauge how much your opponent has. Zanster, for now, he is pumping quite a bit of gas into these defensive Banelings, and this is the exact reaction FireCake wanted out of it so that he can climb up. I mean, look, he has 100 gas extra, which technically is an extra Mutalisk.
Yeah, so it's all about the third base now. It becomes a fight to who can take over the third base. So Banelings can be used in that way. If you can take a third base and cancel your opponents, you have an extra 200 gas a minute, an extra 200 gas, which puts that to 2 Mutalisks a minute extra over your opponent. And minutes go fast in StarCraft, so you know that's 2, 4, 6, 8, and it climbs up to where you just win the game. So the next part of the match is to take third bases each, and before the Spire is ready, to deny each other's third, or at least attempt.
Good move here by Zanster, really kind of equalizing the gas in total. Look how good they are, dead equal in terms of gas, thanks to the fact that he forced out a few more Banelings here from Zanster on the other side. 2 for 2. And now here come the Mutalisks are on the way. 5 in total to start things off.
Doesn't look like we're going to get any cancels, any thirds.
No, not looks like it.
So both players will change that and not allow that to happen. Zanster's going to try again, but with Mutalisk coming out, it's not going to work.
Well, it just puts a big timer on these, especially the Banelings that are just never going to be able to escape out. So getting those for free is very, very nice if you can just chase them on back.
But FireCake can squeeze drones over to the third now and actually start mining gas because he's got the Vespian geysers very early. Zanster hasn't done that yet. Yeah,
and his third was a little bit later. So the Banelings are going to try and run in, do some damage, and sacrifice themselves because they know the Mutalisks are out and about. And actually, FireCake might be better bringing back his Overlords now because he has quite a few out on the field, whereas Zanster does not.
But he's the one controlling the game at the moment because he's out faster with the Mutalisk. He's supply capping his opponent and technically should be able to not be supplied back to have more Mutalisk. So 1 or 2 may die, but he doesn't have to bring them all back.
Oh, great little counter-attack here as well by these Zerglings. If they could get that kill on that third base, that would be a huge blow here. And the Zerglings are going to come back for the reinforcement. Zergling did actually spot the extra Zerglings of Zanster moving on forwards, and he will be able to chase it away.
Carapace coming out from Zanster, though. He's tried to afford that. It's a great upgrade to have.
Yeah.
If he can pull it out in time. And also adding on spores. He's lost complete map control. So what happens when you're a little bit slow with Mutalisk? He's got no idea where the attacks are coming from. Clear advantage to FireCake. Can swing in like this. Can send Lings to the third. Zanster must play the defensive player, and this is not what you want to be doing in this matchup and in this type of style. Yeah,
not at all. If you're forced to make Spore Crawlers behind this to try and keep up with your opponent, it takes away from even link counts that can go for the run buys. And once FireCake has seen where the Spore Crawlers are, he doesn't have to engage in that location anymore. He can just go elsewhere, and that is pretty much a waste of minerals.
Yeah, this is not looking good for Zanster at the moment. He's in a bit of trouble. Even if Mutalisks go to the third base where there's no Spore Crawlers, Lings can run to the main, and you can switch it up and cross over all the time. It's a classic crossover in this style when you play Muta.
All right, for now, just going to sit around in the middle here, getting plenty of Mutas out himself. There is the small window of having Carapace over your opponent, but obviously you've got to contest the Lings on the floor, which, you know, Glaive Worms do end up bouncing to if they're actually in that thick of the fight as well. Yeah. So they can tank a little bit. That.
Good overlord spread here from FireCake, just making sure he knows where all the units are at all times.
Oh, yeah. It's a Ling versus Ling fight on this right-hand side. And in the end, looks like FireCake is going to be able to push that away. Mutalisk could even intercept a few of these.
There's no Queen on this third either for Zanster, which hasn't been there at all, so...
Nice dive in there, gets himself an Overlord. Not much more than that, though.
Lings to the main, though. He's been able to cross over and split up.
Ah, well played. Well played. Gets the Queen. If he could get that and even just go to the main base and get a Queen or anything.
And Lings on the third. FireCake's just running away with this one. He took map control very early on, and in this matchup, like I said, it's you can't play without any vision.
I mean, what does he do? I mean, it's just very, very difficult to actually contest this all. Queen goes down again. Completely destroyed all the production that is actually going on here. Yes, the fight is going to go on, but they both have Carapace anyway. And Zanster's got to put all his hopes in this +1 weapons for his Mutalisks.
Yeah, and he's going to die before that even takes place. So he's lost his third pretty much. He's got no mining there at all. And here comes the 200 gas advantage per minute, if not more at this current point. It's A wonderful
Double.
setup here.
Yeah, double the income of the gas. FireCake's going to take the engagement. He knows he can trade off against his opponent pretty well. You've got to be careful about trading off Mutler versus Mutler, though. It can sometimes spiral out of control if you don't have the right numbers, but he's got 24 against 22 at the moment with the similar upgrades. Oh, and they've been taken away from each other. That was a real slip up there for Zanster. Not having all of his Mutalists together means that FireCake will gladly just turn around, take that fight. GG. Game number 1 goes to FireCake.
Yeah, one-sided for FireCake. Just knew exactly what to do at all times. And as soon as he took control of the map, you take control of the game, and you never let it go. And it's very hard to come from the from behind in that position. You need to fight for the map control, and if you don't fight for it, you can't have it, and then you're going to fall like we saw.
Yeah, difficult stuff there for Zanster to deal with. FireCake looking really on point, and that's kind of what we expect from him in this matchup, actually. He's really good in this matchup. As I said before, doing very well at the Assembly, Gamers Assembly tournament after WCS had concluded for him. So now we go on to game number 2 here, and Zanster really kind of needs to mess things up. I think going into a Muta versus Muta war against FireCake here, looking at that first game and how he was able to establish himself and the decisions he was making would be very difficult for Zanster.
Yeah, so he might try to stay away from Mutalist openings and just go to something else.
Yeah, maybe. Unless he pulls a TLO and decides to try and go for Spore Crawlers in your main base, which is a bit weird, but apparently it works. So
Yeah. Two-base timing's pretty good against Mutalisks.
Yeah.
And if FireCake wants to stay with Mutalisk, then this type of play can work. There's no doubt.
Definitely. All right. Well, Valley Research Station will be our next map here between them. As FireCake is looking for, I would suspect, the clean sweep here, to be honest with you. He is a very, very strong Zerg versus Zerg player. And we now get into this very soon. Everybody's going go-go. Looks like our players are ready.
Yep. So there's not too many. I mean, this is Valley Research Station. You can play any style on any map. It doesn't matter, Mutalisk or not. It doesn't really matter. So it's up to the players what they want to do. One thing that is for sure on Valley Research Station is spotting early spawning pools is hard because Overlords aren't going to get there in time to give you information on what he's doing. So early spawning pools are common, but it's also favorable to go hatchery first here. So the early build orders are going to be quite important for both sides.
Yeah, there's a really kind of weird dynamic about that, which can kind of throw everything into turbulence and craziness. But now we are loading up and getting good to go into game number 2. So let's jump into Vani Research Station as we have spawning down to the south here. Currently 1 game up. It is FireCake here in this best of 5 representing Punchline ESC. And up to the north, we have our blue Zerg representing Team Property. It is Zanster.
Yeah, Zanster is very good at Zerg vs. Zerg, but now it's time to show it. He's, like I said, never been in the Premier League before. This is a golden opportunity in a Zerg vs. Zerg, which he is good at playing, to show what he's made of. But right now, he's going up against an experienced player within the WCS, played every single season, and FireCake knows how to play this matchup well, and we've already seen that in game number 1.
Yeah, it's a really nice thing to actually watch from FireCake, which is his development as a player throughout the WCS. We've basically seen him kind of mature and grow as a player through the WCS as things have gone on. Obviously, you mentioned it at the very beginning. Qualified, yes, good job. Wasn't able to take a map, finally gained some traction.
Yeah.
Last season, really kind of pushing it on further, causing some upsets. And now, FireCake here goes in as a clear favorite into this challenger, and Zanster, mountain to climb for him.
No early spawner pools, but are we going to see any regular times? Yeah, so FireCake opening up spawner pool first again. And then hatchery first for Zanster. Don't think Zanster played it too wrong there. It just, the thing is with Mutalisk versus Mutalisk, when you play exactly the same, one small edge can turn the game completely in favor of the opponent. So it was close, but he was a little bit slower with the Mutalisks. And we saw what happened. FireCake took full advantage of his speed and knew exactly how to play it out and just showed excellence.
Was powerful, very powerful. Gas is going to come in here
very early again by FireCake.
Yeah, very early.
I think I wouldn't say it was early, but, I mean, I am saying it's early. I think the normal's around 3 minutes, and 3:05, 3:10 is kind of normal, I think, for going spawning pool first. But this is quite fast.
Yeah, so looking to maybe exploit some speed here is FireCake.
Now his opponent's playing no gas at the time. And he can take it a little bit later on. I mean, 3:30 is a gas timing, 3:45 is another time to take it, which pushes you to 3 queens, and then you play a kind of queen defense, but very economy heavy. But he can also go no gas at all.
Yeah. It's a good map to do no gas. I mean, blocking off the ramp here with queens and then being able to bring them back for the lava inject and going back again, it's not that far out of the way for queens to do something like that. So there is the potential. He's got 2 queens on the way. He could easily follow this up with another 2 afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at FireCake's view, he's already seen no gas has been taken, so he's got a clear idea of what's going on, and there's multiple ways he could deal with this. He can just go ahead and take a very fast third base, saying that, well, I'll just take an extra production facility because you cannot be aggressive,
yeah.
Or he can tech up. There's another way to deal with it. There are some builds where you can try to break down the defensive player with his queens, via lings or roaches, but the better 2 options is take a third base or tech up yourself.
Yeah, very, very powerful. The third base, very difficult to be punished from that point on. It is going to be that 4-queen opener here from Zanster. So a little bit of potential for him to get some creep spread going as well as block at the front. I'm going to take a gas and probably a second one would suspect, so that he can really kind of propel himself forwards and catch up with where FireCake is at.
Yeah, I don't know where he's exactly going to go, though. Quite common is just to go... I mean, almost not get Zergling speed and just go straight for the Roach upgrade and layer and Roaches, and slowly move down and take your third with creep spread and queen support, which he's building a spine crawler to do so.
Trying to get a denial on some scouting, but very difficult when your queen is not right in the right spot to actually do that. So we'll get full information pretty much as to what is going on over here.
Yeah, he saw that not much gas was being brought in from FireCake, so he knows it's going to be a third base, and even moves his overlord slightly south to see it. So Zanster's on top of what's going on.
Was trying to deny there with the drone actually moving down here, but I mean, that was a little bit strange regardless. Maybe if Zanster had pulled his overlord back, that would have been totally fine. But Roach Warren as well as Evolution Chamber. Second Evolution Chamber being put at the very back here, so Zanster trying to pull a little bit of a fast one on FireCake.
I don't think he can afford 2 upgrades here, though. So, I mean, he can, but then he has no roaches at all, and it's going to be kind of hard to take this third.
That might be his go-to. He might just go for something like a 1-1 time. I mean, it's very ambitious, but, well, for now, see what he's going to do with that second Evolution Chamber. Right now, he is going to go melee, which I wasn't really expecting.
No, that's not so common. Very Zergling heavy against an opponent who is going to be using roaches, and in a very open area out here defending this third base. So what Zanster's looking to do is he'll slowly take his third, but he's going to build up a lot of lings, and he's going to try to overwhelm FireCake's earlier third with mass lings, upgraded lings as well, and hopefully his opponent is not in holding the ramp or hugging the mineral lines. That's kind of how FireCake has to play it. But if he is hugging the mineral lines or on the ramp, then he can kill the hatchery and then come back.
Yeah.
But either way, there's going to be a flood of lings very shortly.
Yep, there should be. Those lings tried to poke up, well, 1 ling in fact, but didn't really see a whole lot. Didn't see the layer morphing in behind this either. Plenty of overlords being sprung now here for Zanster to really open up the taps and make sure that he can get a few more lings on out.
Yeah, there's no layer here at all for FireCake, so we can't really build an overseer to know what's going on inside, because that's one way to go and have a look. But right now, he may even start to drone a little bit too heavily towards his third. I don't think he should. He should always be building units at this point. And he is only building units because he has a better economy and better production. There's no need to be too greedy.
Definitely.
So he's playing it smart. And the way that once he sees these lings, he's got to cover the ramp well, and he's got to get all these other roaches in the mineral line and around, hugging the hatchery.
But he's going to have so many roaches.
If he moves out, then he's in trouble.
Yeah, where's he going?
Well, he's already seen the lings now, so he's going to come back.
Yeah. And then just sit around. Just sit around and wait it out. 3 spine crawlers are going to go down here.
Yeah, he knows what he's playing against. He's just got to make walls and not allow these lings to get full surrounds.
Don't be too far out with these roaches. Where are they going? He's
3 roaches to make a wall.
Okay, good.
And then other roaches have to be hugging this hatchery.
Very, very good preparation here by FireCake, who sees all of this, and those lings alone cannot contest with those roaches. No way.
Not in this number, no. He hasn't got enough, and there's 15 more roaches on the way. I think this strategy from Zanster just isn't working.
No, and trying to go for a spire behind this, it's almost desperation at this point. It's very, very difficult to combat this. 15 extra roaches are about to pop, Sean. This is... Oh my god.
He can leave a handful of roaches with 3 spines and just go over the other side of the map and kill them, I think.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. And if he hits... Well, I mean, he will hit before that spire even gains full momentum. there's really nothing he has to have a huge flood of lings and get a great surround on separated roaches.
Yeah, I think this is going to be hard.
Very, very difficult.
Yeah, the build was fine from Zanster, just the strategy's not working.
And now looking around here, if he spots that Spire at the back with this Changeling that he has.
If he gets the 2-2 though, so if he survives this wave, and he's building up lings to hopefully survive it, he's got a lot. He may be able to surround this.
Yeah, he has a lot of lings. He'll be up to 80 or so very soon if he comes in from the back as well. Maybe this can work. Maybe it can. Plus one weapons is on this, and that's a great wraparound. And I really think he underestimated how many lings there were, because that is a ton. The swarm is very much so real.
Yeah, and then 20 drones just got built by FireCake to saturate this third.
That was a lot down the drain. Look how the resources lost here in comparison. And now that really gives a strong presence here for the Mutalisks to actually do something.
Yeah, he's going to be fine on his third, but the Mutalisks, there's a lot of spores around, and this is the time if you got Overlords out to bring them back. But a lot of spores are being built, and then all that FireCake is going to try and do is build up a Roach Hydra force that can't be stopped by Mutalisks. Which means Zanster has to have plan B, not Mutalisk plan. Whatever it is, Infestors, or if he's going up to those the Hive for Ultralisks.
Very racy, and obviously a dire off to Queen, but there you go. As I did take a few shots from that Spore Crawler at the front. And now Zanster here with Hive morphing in as well. Very, very quick 2 Hive to get, well, I mean, he can technically have 3-3 as well as extra adrenal glands, and potentially Ultralisks come out for himself. Yeah,
he's got the Bailey Nest for support, and then he'll go Ultralisks. I don't think he can try to get 3-3 and Ultralisk, that's too much, but Ultralisk definitely.
All right, well, Lings are still controlling the map for the most part, and the Mutalisks will fly in and just get anything that they can find. An Overlord or 2, even just a little bit of scratching damage at the edge of an Extractor would be nice, regardless of what he finds, though. Yeah. He's keeping FireCake back at home. Yeah,
it didn't look like this strategy was working out too well for Zanster, but, you know, that catch of the Roaches was excellent, and he's turned it around where he's been able to get towards the Hive, the Ultralisk Cavern. He's adding on a bunch of Spines back at home in case we see a push out, because then he can counter. He can go Ling, Mutalisk, run around counter while trying to defend with Spines and anything else he can squeeze out.
And he's even happy enough to take that goal base. So, not because there's not much that can really pressure. Although, that being said, FireCake is going to send a small force around to this left-hand side, but it was spotted by this Overlord instantly and has to retreat back. And even if he does that, there's still 82 Zerglings on the field.
Yeah, so, ready to either morph to Banelings if an attack comes before the Ultralisk Cavern is ready.
He's got a great position. A great setup here for Zanster, who just had to survive that small prod out, and then from that point on, he's flying at the moment.
Yeah, so here comes an attack which hits before upgrades complete and before the Ultras Cavern, so he'll probably counter or morph a bunch of Banelings. And here comes the counter, 2-2 upgrades as well.
Yeah, just run all the Zerglings all over these 3 bases. Probably not the natural.
So he's got to morph Banelings back at home because the counter's going to deal critical damage, if not game-ending damage. He's just got to make sure that he morphs enough Banelings to roll into these Hydralisks.
Yeah, how many Hydralisks are there? For 21 Hydras, jeez. If the Roaches can tank up some of those Banelings at the front, then great, but there is actually a lot of Banelings morphing in.
Yeah, I think Zanster's going to be able to deal with this.
Yeah, looks like it. He's got a strong setup in terms of the defense as well. Here come the Link Flood. Doesn't want to go in too far forwards, though, there, as the Spines are trying to be cleaned up slowly.
Yeah, 36 drones have been killed by this counter-attack.
Brilliant little move. Brilliant. 66 workers against 37. Zanster really doing very well against it, but now there's nothing this army can do. Nothing at all. There's too much here for Zanster.
Yep, he's got a lot of Banelings, a lot of Lings, and now the first Ultralisk is on its way. 13 drones of replenishment coming out from FireCake, but he has been trumped.
Yeah, Infestors needed to come out to try and land some fungals on that army in the first wave as he tried to push forwards, but nope, they were not here in time. And now Zanster goes for another counterattack, knowing his opponent is really weak at the moment.
Yeah, this not looking good for FireCake, and it all came down to losing those Roaches early on. He really didn't expect that.
Not at all. He got surrounded pretty much by like 80 Zerglings almost, and then from that point on, not the easiest of times. Fungal saw on some of these Banelings though. Zanster looks to try and hold on. Here comes one of the Ultralisks as well. Our next one actually pops out, and there's not much more that they can do against those Ultralisks, so we shall just chase on forwards with the support of the Mutalisks. And Zanster's played out a very, very strong game.
Yep, he's waypointing all the units, all the Zerglings to the other side of the map, looking to finish this off and go to 1-1. FireCake has almost nothing less. Emergency Spine Crawls coming in, but Zanster knows this is going to be his game. A Zergling style, a very cool style I love this down myself, and I just wish I was good enough to be able to play it successfully. But he's going to go and end this one. There's nothing that can really be done with the amount of units he has on the way. He's droning up towards the gold base just because he can. But Zanster is killing a Roach Warren because he can.
Nom, 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 nom.
Probably because the Ultras can't get out, but because he can. Doesn't need them. And it's time to finish this one off and move into game number 3.
Yeah, and when you play this style, it's actually really satisfying to gain a lead and have that huge Ultra Baneling army and just attack. So he's biding his time a little bit. He probably could have killed him off earlier, but bide your time. Have a lot of fun here with this composition that sometimes you can't quite easily get up to, especially, again, you know, if it's a difficult style to play, and then just roll on over your opponent. With a few of those units, quite literally.
Yep, he's really taking his sweet time here, but it all is a matter of time that Zanster has on his hands to play with. Gold base being taken, left-hand side being taken. He's warming himself up a little bit, kind of stretching his fingers across that keyboard as he knows that the win is inevitable. It cannot be stopped. It cannot be stopped.
I tried to set up as much fortification as possible here at the front, with some infested Terrans trying to block out those Ultras from getting on in, but the Banelings will roll on through, connect with some of those Hydralisks at the back, and then the Ultralisks go on the warpath.
An Ultralist stomp, 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 eat, and win, 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 win.
Very well done there by Zanster to play that kind of style and make it work. Of course, FireCake quite eager to hit some kind of window there, but once those 80 Zerglings start surrounding you and the defensive setup of even just Queens alone to help out is very, very useful.
Yeah, the thing is, if if FireKite knew all those Lings were being built that surrounded his original Roaches, he wouldn't have even moved out and would have said, okay, well, I just have such a better economy and better units, I don't need to attack you at all. But he really thought his opponent would be droning towards that third base and thought he could hit before any other Lings were out. But he got surprised, he got caught, and we saw the consequences.
Yeah, very, very tough stuff there for FireCake, who probably sees it as more of a blip than anything, really. Knows what went wrong and then tried to kind of work out what was going on from there, but unfortunately he couldn't find a solution. So now we move on to Expedition Lost, one of the more crazier maps here. And we could see fireworks, we could potentially see early pools or something like that come along.
Yeah, I mean, any two-player map, it's very easy to pull off an early spawner pool because you know where your opponent is, and there's no early scout in ZvZ Zerg aside from the overlords that sees it coming through the map. But if you already have a hatchery down, there's nothing you can really do about it. But even if you have a hatchery down, it's still possible to make these holds with good micro, which is why we're not seeing it as often as we have done in the past. So it's possible, but definitely not certain to happen.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, now we're just waiting for Zanster to get in and good to go here into game number 3. This is our last series of the day, of course. We've had 4 fantastic series so far prior to this. And, of course, day number 1 had some pretty cool series themselves. But a lot of upsets here in day number 2, as we've had some amazing challenger players able to qualify through there and get good to go. So Zanster still just taking a little moment here between games.
Yeah, so just looking at results that we've seen so far. Yesterday, or Monday should I say, was 2-2 for Challenger versus Premier.
Yeah.
And today also 2-2.
Oh, okay.
So it's completely equal between Premier League players and Challengers going into Premier League so far.
But because we have 5 series today...
Today we will swing one way or the other. It's either going to be Premier players who have taken it or Challengers. But I really thought it would be much closer to Premier players overall that have chosen these guys. As you can see, here are the games kind of gone already. Fast, bing, bam, boom. Premier players, I always thought would be... There we go again. It's just back like that. Just a click of the finger and it's back. All right, so as you can see, left-hand side of all the names are Premier players. Snoot, Wellmoo, Tilo, sorry, New Thermal.
There's a very clear
2 and
pattern
2
here going on. It's Premier, Challenger, Premier, Challenger, Premier, Challenger,
so
Premier,
technically,
Challenger.
Zanster should win this one.
All right, let's go. No, wait, no, Zanster should be eliminated.
Yes, correct, sorry. Zanster should be eliminated, and FireCake will continue the pattern that we have here.
Yep.
And of course, we'll be going through on day 3 on tomorrow, on the 30th, with the rest of our games to decide all the players, the 14 players that shall play in Premier League for Season 2 and represent Europe. And we have a good selection of players so far.
Yeah, Europe was very well represented in Season 1, obviously, with the likes of Bunny, Showtime, as well as 4GG getting up there as well. Obviously, he is a European representative.
Yep.
And so, really, really good results from Europe in Season 1.
But it was an All-American final.
Yes, it was. So really good results for those guys as well. So, yeah. Well done, America. Well done. All right, so now we go into Expedition Lost for game number 2. 3, even, I should say. It's been a long day already. As we have spawning up to the top, it is our red Zerg representing Punchline ESC. It is FireCake. And down to the bottom left, we have our blue Zerg representing Team Property. It is Zanster.
Who's destined to lose because of the pattern of wins and losses from Premier to Challengers.
We figured it out. We figured out the Da Vinci Code of WCS. And now we know exactly how everything is going to play out, even tomorrow, if it continues on in such a fashion.
That is correct.
All right. All right. So, at the moment, not looking like any early pulls just yet.
No, both overlords, second overlords have been made, so no early spawning pool. So it's either going to be 15 spawning pool or 15 hatch, depending on which way they want to go. But FireCake stayed true so far. 2 games out of 2, 15 hatch, 15 spawning pool. Sorry, Zanster's the one that's gone hatchery first each time.
Yep. And now Zanster, still with the tying up of this series, has a great opportunity to try and just push on forwards and cause an upset. Because as I say, FireCake coming into this, by far, I would say, the favourite.
Yeah, he's a favourite for me too. Out of these players. But 15 spawning pool apiece. Zanster a little bit worried that he's opened up hatchery first twice in a row, that he could be beaten up.
Yeah. Not exactly something that you want to do. You don't want to be predictable. You definitely don't want to be predictable, especially in a matchup like Zerg versus Zerg. Of all the matchups, very, very cutthroat here in this matchup.
So from this position, it's going to really come down to gas timings. Who takes what gas when? And again, FireCake's going to take his gas pretty early. So he's going to be the commander for this series. He's going to be leading the charge with his earlier Zergling speed and earlier Baneling Nest. Just by a little bit, so it's not even by much. So he kind of has a hat on, but FireCake is kind of, I mean, Zanster has one as well. It's really not much different.
The French Revolution is upon us here as FireCake tries to bring all the power forwards.
Yeah.
And Zanster, I don't know if Sweden ever went to war with France, actually. Can't quite recall. I like my history, but pretty far away from one another.
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
I'm going to flip a coin.
Flip a coin.
Say no. They never went to war.
That's how history works. Flip a coin. No, no.
No, they didn't. They didn't go to war.
Great.
So both Zergling sets are out to find some gas timings to see what the other guy's doing with his gas.
And these two little Zerglings poking on forwards, but Zanster's being a bit defensive with his.
Yeah, he wants to deny the scout.
Yep. Take that.
And Lings can always run to the ramp with the queen. And so far, so good for the denial.
Doing okay. Knows that they could run back and block, but the queen obviously being a bit
so
far
both
out.
of them a little bit in the dark here to the gas timings of each other.
Cheeky little Zerglings. Run. Okay, I'm gonna dart
He's
pass.
making a run for it, and the queen's not out yet.
He's done it!
He's very close, and FireCake's going to get a scout.
Success.
He sees it. And good scout there by him. Circle speed on the way. Baneling Nest almost affordable, if not affordable, and there it is.
All of that dancing for nothing. Well, for the most part. At least he denies the Baneling Nest being spotted because the Zerglings were so low after that first little dance.
And FireCakes is going to come down as well, knowing this. So very equal between the two of them in our mirror matchup. Second mirror matchup of the day. Third mirror matchup of the day.
Yep. We've had a TVT as PvP, and now we get our ZvZ.
Yep.
As the Zerglings are going to head on towards here for Zanster, and thankfully for them, they can spot that Baneling Nest super fast. Yep. So, you know, peace of mind, but they see it in a defensive posture.
So 10, 12 Lings out of Zanster, quite a lot here.
Wow.
He only built about 6 before.
Holy moly.
When he wanted to put 16. So we are going to have an attack from Zanster into a Spine Crawler and defensive Banelings. How much does he go? He's only built 16, and then he goes back to drones and a second gas, so it's only 16, and then he's going to continue to tech behind it. But he's going to try a little bit.
Zanster channeling his inner Jeremy Clarkson is just going to go for power here as much as possible at the front.
Yeah, Roach Warren behind this, so he's looking to do some bit of an attack, and then maybe go for a Roach Baneling attack again afterwards, but Banelings are out. 3 Lings down for 1 Baneling.
It's an alright trade there for Zanster, but he's got to contend with 24 Zerglings that are about to pop out, and FireCake should have enough to be able to deal with this.
This is why these attacks are very difficult to make work, as you can see. When one person has Banelings as well, it's hard.
Yep. Oh, it goes for the straight counter here, does FireCake.
Yes,
Interesting.
and there's not much back at home right now.
That's very interesting. It's rare you actually see this,
He's waiting for roaches to pop or to be built.
And it's just going to go straight for a few of these drones. Already gets himself 3. Very well done there by FireCake. Really cool decision making.
Yeah.
Oh, goes straight back in again. What is going on? Where is Zanster's units? He needs to be out here and helping out.
He didn't want to build Lings and Banelings. He wanted to bring his own back so he could add on roaches. And he did lose a few drones, 6, but he just built 10 roaches. So 10 roaches supported by a bunch of Zerglings makes for a very powerful attack to the other side of the map.
Yes, it does. And how much is FireCake going to know about this? He actually has quite a few.
He's adding on 8 drones. He's going to be double his opponent's economy, but he's half his opponent's army.
Yeah, sees those roaches now, and now is building an extra spine crawler, an extra couple actually. But they could go to the back rocks if they wanted to.
Yes, they can. Yes, they can. This is a very difficult way to try to play how FireCake's doing. He's going to have Zerglings alone. He's in a little bit of trouble. So as much as he was like, yeah, this guy's like getting supply bot, man, like taking all his drones and stuff, man. Hashtag 420 easy life, man. No, like now he's in trouble.
A lot of trouble. Oh, well, okay, so Roach is going to head on forwards, see all those spine crawlers and be like, well, actually, they're not finished. So I'll just get some free units to start things off and maybe pull them back a little bit further. And then once I do, go to the back rocks, start working on those.
Yeah, and if he's just got to keep building units. The Spire is so far away. It is only Spine, Zergling, and Banelings to defend.
Yeah.
He's trying to get towards the Spire, but it's a long way away.
There's even a drone here for Zanster. I wonder if he tries to just say that his opponent might be going for a Spire as well, and if he was a little bit further ahead compared to what he thinks he is, because he hasn't seen anything in the main base, he could actually make a spore himself.
Yeah, it's probably will.
Yeah. Heading on up now. Knows that he's going to try and reposition.
Got a lot of defense, though.
That's quite a few Banelings. The Banelings all coming in a big line here from FireCake to try and get some good AoE damage done. But there's still a lot of roaches here, and the Zerglings actually survived a lot of the Banelings from actually pushing on forwards. Spore goes down at the front and tries to go for it again while he's being killed off, but there's still Zerglings here. A few more Banelings. This is very, very close here.
Yeah, there's a lot of Lings on the way, though. 30 additional Lings for FireCake to hold on, and the Spire is down and soon to be out. He is making this hold. This is a very good defense from FireCake.
Yeah.
He's just got to keep going.
Kind of needed to save the Banelings for the Zerglings if he needed them for the defense, and should be able to flood and push this away.
Yeah, he's got to make sure he has some lava and some money to be able to build towards the Spire, but a second Spine's coming up, and he just built so many Spines, he's going to hold!
Oh, wow, GG! Impressive stuff there from FireCake to be able to hold against that.
Yeah.
But again, great repositioning on the Spines when he needed to do it, and you know, you can't keep bouncing back and forth forever, but actually, now that I think about it, if you did that and kept forcing the Spines to uproot and keep going, then maybe he could have done, but he knew it was against a timer.
Yeah, that was really cool there by FireCake. Good defense, good defense. The Spire was almost out. And then the Mule has come into play and it's hard. So right now we're actually continuing the pattern where FireCake's meant to go through and we have our zigzag Premier Challenger movers through to the Premier League.
Yeah, could continue. Could continue. Cactus Valley is going to be our next map here in the Zerg versus Zerg. And FireCake, really cool hold there. And it's fun to actually see these kinds of players come out on Expedition Lost in Zerg versus Zerg specifically because they are so common now.
Yeah, you just can't play two-base Spire on that map very successfully, and that's what Zanster wanted to tap into and just go for the win. But unfortunately for him, you know, FireCake had a lot of spine crawlers and had a lot of Lings, a lot of Banelings, and was able to hold on. It was good play from FireCake, and I did enjoy that hold from him. And now he's a single game away from another Premier League appearance. Yep,
yes he is. All right, so one more for FireCake, whereas Zanster needs to cause a bit more of an upset in this next game and try and advance on to our final map. But final series of the night. Yeah, final series of the night, but a golden opportunity for FireCake to get his 5th Premier League appearance. That's a lot of Premier League appearances now. But Zanster, he's never been there. This is his golden opportunity because there's only 3 a year that come around. Unfortunately, wasn't qualified in the first season. He couldn't make it through. Second season, here he is, and who knows if he even qualifies for season 3. Here is the ticket to the Premier League. It is yours to grab, but FireCake is in his way. All right, so looks like Zanster is good to go as well as FireCake. So the potential last map of the night here. It's been quite a speedy one, to be honest. Again, a lot of high-octane aggression coming out in a lot of these games and a lot of these series. But been really good games so far today. I've been thoroughly enjoying them.
Yep, it's been an excellent day of Challenger. If you've been enjoying it as well, do make sure to let us know on hashtag WCS. Send your tweets in, and of course, just let everybody know about Challenger, because we have another day of Challenger tomorrow. And it'll be our final day before we determine 14 players from Challenger in Europe that go to the Premier League.
Gotta figure it out who is gonna make Premier as we get into game number 4 now. And it is gonna be cross positions here on Cactus Valley as we have spawning up to the top right-hand corner. It is Team Property Zanster, and down to the bottom left, it's our Punchline ESC FireCake.
And this is a big map here.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe some hatchery first from both players.
Yeah.
Hard to pull off the aggression, not knowing where your opponent is, but possible. But neither of them are going to do it, as both overlords have started.
We had our Zerg versus Zerg before on this map as well in our previous day, and we had
TLO versus Nurtio.
Yeah, and we had the go-to of it was the Zergling style from TLO, if I recall correct.
That's right.
Yeah, so that was really cool to see on a map this big. You were already mentioning it before. It can be very good on this map because it is so large.
Yep, it's a good style, and maybe Zanster does that again.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely a good style, but some really solid defensive play can beat it still.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't think FireCake would be all too eager to try and push the issue if he knew that something like that was to come along. But it did kind of catch him off guard in the previous game because he didn't see the double evolution chamber, as it was the second one was all the way at the back.
Yeah. Hatchery first, as expected from at least one of these players, Zanster.
Mm-hmm. Whereas on the other side, of course, we have our spawning pool first from FireCake.
Yeah, FireCake just doesn't care. He's just doing it every time.
Yeah, might even go for his gas pretty quickly as well after this hatchery goes down, just to play the same game.
Stick to the same opening.
Yeah. I mean, he's had success with it so far. If numbers are any kind of validity to that. Going to be gas. Pretty similar time actually here for Zanster in comparison to FireCake, so a slight difference in that regard, and he will have his speed out in due time to combat what FireCake could potentially bring.
This can be played in a very defensive map because the second base has this 2-structure wall off. I thought it was 3. It's actually just 2. Like an evolution chamber and a roach warren can wall that off.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It is pretty good. It works in a similar way to, I mean, of course, without the high ground vision, but also Varney Research Station. You know, you can wall. We saw Zanster try and wall that off with evolution chamber and roach warren as well as a queen, just in case anything was going on. But he was mostly hiding things from his opponent. Very
similar gas timings again, but on a map this size, you need to get a Zergling in to know what's up. This could be gasless. This is a good map for gasless. So neither of them have any information, not even assumptions really. But this one single Zergling from FireCake, the one with a French flag attached to his back, had one plan: to scout the gas.
And he saw 4 Zerglings, actually, which I really wasn't expecting from Zanster. But he's scouting everywhere, by the looks of things.
He saw Zergling speed.
Uh-oh.
In the year 2015, the World Championship Series, Day 2 of Challenger in Europe, saw Zanster versus FireCake in an epic Zergling battle.
You're building this up a lot for saying that you saw speed.
And it was FireCake who had a single Zergling to scout the Zergling speed of his opponent.
And he's going to have to run away. Alright, so there's the speed and the speed. And Baneling Nest at the front here for FireCake is very, very defensive once again.
Very early spine too.
Yeah, that's pretty quick.
14 lings on the way from Zanster anyway.
I think it's because he saw those 4 Zerglings as opposed to 2 at the beginning with that 1 Zergling. I mean, why would he be making those 4 if nothing else was to happen?
Yeah, so it's 14 Zerglings. Going to put a bit of pressure on now that Zergling speed is complete. And then behind this we have an evolution chamber.
Oh.
And a Baneling Nest late from Zanster coming in.
The Chamber of Evolutions is on the way.
Yeah. Could try a single Carapace game.
Could.
Try a heavy Zergling to overwhelm the third and North taking advantage in the economy.
That would be cool, but these
Bailing's not ready.
Ah, they're just going to run past. Okay. Well, this queen... Oh, really good positioning on the queen, actually, to defend it as long as possible. Zerglings are going to eventually pop. How many drones will he be able to keep alive? Bit of a tussle here with the Zerglings dancing back and forth, but here come the 2 Banelings. Gets quite a few Zergling kills there himself, and 2 drones will end up dying eventually, but...
Yeah, there's a lot of Lings that we just saw FireCake make too, so he's got to flick on the aggression, and he's going to drone up heavily behind it and go 2 base Spires, who takes all the gases, but he's going to, with the units that he has out now, put pressure on to Zanster, who has to morph 2 Banelings. He doesn't have any Spine Crawler, and he is going to try the Evolution Chamber with the Carapace.
FireCake should be on top of this and not lose too many Zerglings as he does move on forwards. He sees those 2 Banelings will pull away. Yeah,
he's going to morph in and try and do something here. Remember, he is playing 2 base Spire behind this, and he's just droning up for the time being.
Zergling's going to poke on forwards. They only saw 1 Baneling there at the start, so he really wanted to gauge how many were actually morphing in.
Oh, there's 2 Banelings for Zanster.
Uh-oh.
Oh, great spread straight away.
Amazing spread. Brilliantly done there by FireCake, who just marches forwards now with these lines, a line of Banelings. And how much will he get done with them? They're trying to walk on forwards. There was a big connection outside the mineral, outside the base, though. He gets himself 7 workers at the cost of a lot of Zerglings, though.
4 Zerglings on the way. A little bit slow here, but he has 4 retreating back, which can be morphed as Banelings. And then go ahead and go for the Spire play.
Yeah.
The one thing that he's got to be very careful of here, because this is Carapace, in a moment we are going to see this upgrade kick in.
Yes.
And then every fight is going to go in Zanster's favor. He'll win the 3rd battle fight. He'll win anything that FireCake underestimates as well.
And the Zerglings, they don't quite want to poke forwards, thinking that there could have been extra Banelings morphed in and ready and good to go, but he could have actually tried to exploit the fact that there were no Banelings here for a short amount of time, and unfortunately doesn't quite hit that window, doesn't have the eyes that we have.
Nope.
Which is seeing all the map. Yeah. Nope.
And still, well, this Spire is going to be actually pretty important in this game.
It's done really fast, and he hasn't been enforced to make any more Banelings, only the 4, so he's banked up quite a bit of gas here, and he doesn't know that the gases at the natural were taken, or the fact that the layer was morphing in, so he has no clue about this Spire play just yet, until he scouts out the fact that the 3rd is pretty late, probably.
Yeah, the Carapace, though, is pretty big. He's going to be able to defeat this 3rd.
Yeah, difficult really to deal with that. The Banelings will walk forwards, and then he probably should realize once those hit, or if any hit, that he can't really do much with that.
Yeah, so it's a Mutalist play against Ling Infester.
Oops. 2 Banelings for 2 Banelings, I think, over here. I didn't quite see exactly the trade as I was clicking away from it. But here come the 2 Banelings, and even if they crash forwards, Zanster's like, ha ha ha, I don't really care too much.
Yeah, FireCake's like, I'll just build a lot more Lings, though.
Yeah, and they will nibble away. So you still don't want that to happen. You do not want those combustions to happen on your Zerglings, because obviously Lings will be able to finish off those very low health.
3 queens out, 4th one, 5th one on the way. So the queen production is going to start to climb up now for Zanster in anti-air preparation.
And we could potentially see him go for something... Well, actually, you know, he squeezed out Infestus and Fungal Growth with the Pathogen Glands on the way pretty quickly. I'm surprised at how quick he's got that out. Yeah,
he's going to be playing Ling Infester Queen, but I don't know how he's ever going to plan an attack, because that's going to be the hard part.
I mean, maybe an Ida Swarm. We've seen it time and time again against this kind of play. If he gets a lot of queens, then yes, it can work out, but...
Yeah. The problem is we're going to see a switch over into Roaches very shortly from FireCake. I think this double Evolution Chamber here should be for Roach upgrades, and then Roach Run should come down soon after.
Ling goes for counter-attack.
Oh, he's going to go melee upgrades, interestingly enough. So both playing the same style, but one player with a big advantage when it comes to those upgrades.
Yeah, here come the Lings now into the 3rd base. Getting any drones they can would be very, very nice here. They're going to try and evacuate out towards that mineral.
Also, Zanster with Lings on the other side of the map that have got there's no defense.
Those 2 Banelings could cause some problems.
Banelings, I didn't see those.
He's not paying attention. Does lose quite a few of them, but still keeps some alive, and even gets himself that Spine Crawler. Do some damage over here. 8 worker kills against just the 2 at the moment. Where are the Mutalisks? They had to come back to clean up.
Yeah, but it's looking okay, I think, for him at the moment. For Zanster.
Well,
the upgrade advantage is pretty big.
Yeah, it's very, very big. That +2 weapons coming in. It's a little bit slower than the Carapace, obviously, but didn't really have full access to double Evolution Chamber for a whole while.
Yeah, he's got to try and extract as much value from these Mutalisks as he can.
A lot of extra Zerglings on the way here, but the Mutalisks having a really hard time dancing around these Spore Crawlers, getting on top of an Extractor at the side, maybe getting a few drones, evacuating the drones out though. Really smart play there by Zanster.
Yeah. But if they get caught by a fungal growth, the 5 infestors are on the way. They do have pathogen glands, so they can just land a fungal instantly.
Here comes the wraparound again from upgraded Zerglings. Very, very powerful in comparison to going to deny this 4th base. A few Mutalisks back here to try and fend them off, but it's not really enough. And this engagement will not go in favor of FireCake if he has to stick around.
I think Zanster's going to go Mutilus of his own. He's throwing down his own Spire.
That's interesting.
That'd be a nice little switch.
Yeah, maybe catch him off guard. Unless, for example, the Mutalisks somehow find a way to the back here and spot this.
If the Mutalisks get hit by these fungals,
it could be all over.
Scream.
It could be very, very dangerous, very deadly.
But great Overlord spread again by FireCake. He's very good at that, actually.
The one thing that I'm liking for FireCake over Zanster is the fact that he did actually add a macro hatch over at this 4th base, compared to Zanster, who still is on this Ling style, but no macro hatch. So he will have a bit of a bank up of minerals that he can't quite easily spend on the lava he has.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of Banelings.
Yeah, 23. Wow, wow, wow. He's really expecting his opponent to hit hard with these Zerglings.
That's interesting. Or he's going to plan an attack of his own, but...
True.
It's going to be hard to work against Infestors. They just lock, especially on this map where there's so many choke points, he just locks them down.
Roly-poly's on the way.
All right, this is going to be cool. This is going to be interesting. There's a lot of Queens too. Mutalisks is starting to come out from Zanster, but they're not going to be a part of this fight.
I don't think he fully knows about how many Banelings there actually are there. He goes for the counterattack with these Zerglings, but now he shows the Banelings on creep, and...
It's a lot of Mutalisks too. They're going to do quite a bit of damage here for FireCake. The Queens are going to have to be super important in the anti-air defense, but if he just locks this down with fungals...
Yeah, that's the hard counter to the whole of this. Oh, fungals, fungals, fungals. He has so much energy left over still, though.
FireCake knows this now. It's going to be... FireCake doesn't want to just attack into fungals, so...
Yeah.
That didn't work out too well. Unfortunately for Zanster, he kind of missed the 2 fungals that could have really surprised. But 19 Mutalisks!
Jeez.
Woo!
19 against 16 that are out already, and I don't think he's expecting that transition at all.
And Queens and Infestors, so he just takes the control of that. That's a nice move. That's a nice switch.
And now, Zerglings are going to come in from every angle, potentially, as well as just units from every angle for FireCake, because he does put pressure on at the 3rd base. He denied the 4th. Zerglings here also for Zanster to try and put on some pressure at the 3rd. And oh my god, there's action everywhere. Banelings and Zerglings crash into everything. They were also cleaned up down here at the 4th base, and he cleans up at his own 4th.
Yeah, this is looking pretty good for... I mean, FireCake was in a bit of an interesting situation, but...
Oh my god!
Oh, the hatchery's gone!
He blew up all the Banelings onto it, realizing now he's in a bit of trouble with the Mutalisk count, though. 23 against 14, has to retreat on out.
Yeah, that's a big problem, though, for FireCake, is dealing with the Mutalisk count.
Burrowed all these Infestors, doesn't want to lose them to Zerglings alone.
He's building 11, 12 more of his own, though, so...
He needs to buy time, needs to make sure that these are going to be safe, because he can't go down in the numbers. The Queens are here for support, but I don't think it's enough at the moment. But here come the Mutalisks actually popping. Will they be able to make the difference? I think they will. Zanster might have just put all his hopes in this one attack.
It looks like it. The Mutalisks are popping out. Look at it, they're all gone.
Oh, no.
And with the 3rd down as well. FireCake, what a weird game this was. I really haven't seen this type of play before. And it's worked out beautifully for FireCake now with this. I mean, it's 18-5.
It's been utter chaos. He's now going to have to rely on these fungals to try and lock this down. That was nice. Very, very well done. Few infested Terrans, but he hasn't caught the majority of the Mutalisks. They fly out of position. Going to try and wiggle around here to get on top of the infestors and kill those off. But he did lose quite a bit there, but he's still up in supply so much.
Not enough to make the numbers, not enough to keep up with the economy of FireCake, who's on 4 bases and killed one of his opponents. Zanster is just not having enough money brought in to keep up with the level of production that FireCake has.
A crazy, crazy game here. Zanster with potentially a great switch, but with FireCake being absolutely everywhere at once with that absolute chaos ensuing. Now he's just got a massive, massive lead.
And it looks like Zanster not quite good enough for the challenge today as FireCake trying to end this one now. He's coming from every single direction, 3 or 4 different attacks in multiple locations. And this is Zerglings absolutely everywhere. It's like sand when you go to the beach.
Yep, it's very, very apt here for Cactus Valley, as for now he's going to put on pressure at the 3rd base, at the 4th. The Mutalisks were looking to threaten as well. He has more Lings rallied on over. And it's funny because the direct engagements from the Mutalisks really haven't been the big thing. It's just been Lings everywhere for FireCake.
Yeah, and now he's 80 supply ahead. He's inside the main base with even more Zerglings, and his macro's really good. He's been able to produce a lot of units throughout this series, and it always felt like he's able to just macro a little bit better than Zanster, who's been struggling a little bit, keeping up with the unit count. And FireCake's coming in for the final blow where he retains his Premier League spot. 5 in a row, baby.
Yeah, very, very difficult for Zanster to do anything from here. Despite those fungals landing on a lot of these Mutalisks, the numbers have been thin. GG, well played. And FireCake continues on to Premier, and our lovely little zip line from Premier to Challenger to Premier to Challenger advancing on will continue.
Yeah, congratulations there to FireCake. Really, really good play, and that's his 5th Premier League appearance now over the last couple of seasons. So massive, massive results for him. Unfortunately, Zanster and for Sweden, 0-2 today and couldn't break through into Premier League. He'll have to try next season as he's now been officially eliminated from the World Championship Series. But FireCake, the first and only so far French player to go through to the Premier League. Once again, we do have Marine Lord that will be playing tomorrow, but congratulations to FireCake.
Yeah, so let's take a look at all the results so far here from day number 1 and 2. As you can see, it is the zip going all the way down throughout the first 2 days. And let's see if that continues into day number 3.
But it is 3 for the Premier players and 2 for the challengers today. In total, 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. How many have gone through now? 5 to 4.
Don't do maths on stream.
5 to 4. I know I had to do it there. 5 to 4 in favor of the Premier League players. But challengers are putting up a really, really good fight. And even more action is going to be coming tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be a great day of games, that is for sure. And it's been a brilliant day of games, actually, today. Really, really back and forth series overall. Some very entertaining games.
Yeah, lots of entertaining games, and we are going to have even more tomorrow as well. I'm really looking forward to it. It is our final day of Challenger here in Europe. It's going to be sad, but it's been a lot of fun broadcasting these Challenger matches.
Yes, it definitely has. All right, join us tomorrow at the same time, same place for more WCS Challenger action, as we will be bringing you all of that live. 5 series left to go here in Challenger. We'll see you tomorrow.